everybody. This is SA with the Author Sesh Corner, and I am with my co-host Wren Nightingale. And today we're doing an educational video. We're going over writing styles, and then fan fiction versus original. And just so everyone knows, not one is right and not one is wrong. You can do both. You can do one or the other.
That's right. So I guess we'll just jump right in. So this section is writing styles. Your audience and writing purpose will determine your writing style. The four main types of writing styles are persuasive, narrative, expository, and descriptive. Persuasive, for this writing style, the writer is trying to convince the reader of the validity of a certain position or argument. Persuasive writing includes the writer's opinions and provides justifications and evidence to support their claims. Some examples are letters of recommendation, cover letters, op-eds, and editorial newspaper articles, argumentative essays for academic papers. For narrative, often seen in longer writing samples, the purpose of this writing style is to share information in the context of a story. Narrative should include characters, conflicts, and settings. Some examples are short stories, novels, poetry, and historical accounts. Expository, for this type of writing, is used to explain a concept and share information to a broader audience. Expository writing provides evidence, statistics, or results and focuses on the facts of a certain topic. This type is not meant to express opinions. So some examples for these are how-to articles, textbooks, news stories, which are not editorials or op-eds, business, technical, or scientific writing. And finally, descriptive. This type of writing is used to depict imagery to create a clear picture in the mind of a reader. This method helps the readers become more connected to the writing by appealing to their senses. Descriptive writing employs literary techniques such as similes, metaphors, allegory, etc. to engage the audience.
Key elements of writing style: voice, the personality of formal, authoritative, or playful. Word choice, diction, the specific, deliberate selection of words to evoke emotions or convey precise meaning, using strong nouns and verbs. Sentence structure, syntax, the arrangement of words and phrases, such as using short, punchy sentences to impact or long, complex sentences for detailed description. Tone, the attitude of the writer toward the subject, such as the objective, neutral, or subjective, opinionated. Developing a personal writing style. Developing a personal writing style involves a combination of practice, reading, and self-editing. Read avidly. Exposing oneself to various styles helps identify what resonates. Focus on nouns and verbs. Strong writing relies on impactful nouns and verbs rather than excessive adjectives and adverbs. Write with purpose. A clear purpose helps determine the appropriate style. How writing style affects the reader. Engagement. A good narrative or descriptive style captures attention and keeps the reader immersed in the story. Understanding. A expository style helps the reader comprehend complex information efficiently. Conviction. A persuasive style influences the reader's perspective and decision making. The primary difference between fan fiction and original writing lies in the ownership of the intellectual property, IP, and the necessity of building a world and characters from scratch. Fan fiction uses pre-existing character settings or plots created by another, while original writing involves creating everything yourself.
Here's a breakdown of the differences based on several key factors. The first one is creation versus transformation. Fanfiction transformation builds on an existing universe using characters, lore, and settings already loved by readers. It is considered a transformative work, often focusing on exploring what-ifs or changing the direction of the original story. Original writing, which is creation, requires inventing every character, setting, and rule from scratch, creating a completely new world or story. Number 2, the audience and reader investment. Fanfiction. The audience is usually already invested in the characters and world, meaning the author often does not have to hook them in the same way or spend as much time on initial character introduction or detailed world building. But in original writing, the author must put significant effort into convincing readers to care about a new, unknown world and characters. Number 3, constraints and freedom. For fan fiction, authors are bound by canon, the established rules, personality traits, and history of the original media. There is pressure to keep characters in character, or IC, and respect the source material. For original writing, which offers total creative freedom, the author can make any change to their own world, characters, or plot without answering to an established pre-existing continuity. Number 4, legal status and monetization. For fan fiction, it is typically non-commercial and published for free online, for example, AO3 or Wattpad. Because it uses copyrighted intellectual property, fan fiction cannot legally be sold without the owner's permission. But in original writing, the author holds the copyright and can sell, publish, and profit from their work. And number 5, structure and pacing. For fan fiction, which is often serialized, allowing it to be updated as the author goes. It may focus more on emotional moments and character interaction rather than a strict, fast-paced plot. In original writing, it often adheres to more traditional structure and pacing, with a clear beginning, middle, and end, aimed at a broader commercial audience.
Summary table with fan fiction versus original writing. So characters and world for fan fiction, pre-existing or borrowed. Original writing created by the author. Goal for fan fiction: explore new scenarios, fix plot. Original, tell a story. Audience for fan fiction: pre-invested fandom. Original, needs to be convinced. Constraints: fan fiction, high, must follow canon. Original, low, only self-imposed. Monetization: fan fiction, usually free or no profit. Original, for profit, publishable. Writing style: fan fiction can be more episodic. Original, usually tighter, more concise. The distinction can blur, particularly with alternate universe, or AU fanfiction, where characters are used entirely new settings, or when authors filed the serial numbers off, removing references to the original work to turn their fanfiction into something like an original novel. Take 50 Shades of Grey.
Fan fiction is often frowned upon because it is derivative and typically written by younger writers for younger audiences. However, while the former claim is true, the latter is a misconception about fan fiction, since many adults write it as well. Snobby literature buffs like to look down at fan fiction writers and readers alike because it is not original and is usually cringy. And while for the most part there's a lot of cringy fan fiction on the internet, there's also a lot we can learn from it as writers. Keep listening or reading to learn more about how fan fiction can effectively teach readers to write original content competently.
Fan fiction writers just get character. This might be the single most important element of writing because the characters are the windows through which the reader experiences the story and connects with the people around whom it takes place. Something that fanfiction writers do especially well is character consistency, since they are writing from source material rather than conjuring up their own original characters. Fanfiction writers have to be able to accurately and consistently emulate character canon. Fanfiction writers must understand the characters and be able to organically portray them in a way that is believable and acceptable to their readers. This means that for fanfiction to be believable, accurate, and just good quality, the writer must effectively capture the essence of the characters which they are writing.
My bad. Wait, I can pull her up. Hold on. Wait, go this way. Yeah. No, stop. There she is. Most fanfiction readers find themselves on the derivative side of literature simply because they've fallen in love with characters and they just can't get enough of them from the source material. So where do they go? you got it, fanfiction websites, so they can experience more adventures, emotions, scenarios, and more with the characters they love. The story doesn't end just because the book does. Fanfiction writers expand on pre-existing stories, forever immortalizing and breathing new life into age-old beloved characters and tales.
On a similar note, fanfiction writers who create fanon characters, reimagined versions of the pre-existing characters, are essentially already creating their own characters with a few details derived from the source material. These missing details and experiences not present on the page or screen require writers to approach their stories with a sense of originality and a very specific lens through which they can invent new pieces of the story that weren't there before. Likewise, depending on the point of view, some stories require a lot of creativity to write fan fictions for because the point of view is very narrow, which is as singular first-person narratives. Hold on, my phone's not as clear as yours.
If anybody watches Bob's Burgers, everybody knows that Tina is a big fan fiction writer.
Love Bob Burgers.
I love Bob's Burgers. Fan fiction writers must understand the rules and systems of a story's world setting. For example, if a writer wanted to cover J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter or Gillian Shield's Immortal series, they would have to know the way magic and other systems work like the back of their hand. They'd have to know all the inner workings of the magical world, how non-magic users view said magical world, the laws set in place, if any, and any other important details that go along with deeply fleshed out fictional worlds. This is even more difficult for the more obscure worlds where authors have done very little world building, and the fanfiction writer must invent their own systems to fit against the backdrop of the source material author's original setting. Just as character development, fanfic writers must really understand the setting to create a rich, believable story that is as convincing or even more convincing than the source material.
The best stories perfectly balance intricate, complex, layered, dense worlds with intricate, complex, layered, and dense characters. And the same is true for fanfiction. Fanfiction writers must be able to provide an
organic
believable interaction between dynamic characters in their equally dynamic world.
Wait. I want to say something about this. This is essay when she said, wait. Go away. This is essay when she sends me a new fanfic that she recommends. I just had to put that up.
I found a new victim too.
Oh no.
Yeah. You told me to stop.
No, I said, well, I can. In my defense,
no, you stopped me. You don't want no
in
more.
my defense, I have like 40 bookmarks, and I think I only read 10 of them, so you gotta slow down.
I have over 300. That's why you bookmark them and put start.
Okay, but I can't read like 100,000 words in a day, ma'am.
Do what?
100,000 words in a day? I can't read that fast. You're a fast reader. Fanfiction writers must
talk about my.
What?
I was gonna say, let's not talk about my toxic trait.
Fanfiction writers must interweave juicy, compelling tropes into their stories. Fanfiction writers are particularly keen on determining what tropes readers want to read and which tropes provoke deep, visceral reactions from their readers. Fanfiction writers know exactly what their readers want to read, more of because the readers are fans themselves. This is something particularly unique to fanfiction writing, and it's that the readers are painfully and constantly aware of what is missing from the source material because they are consumers of it as much as their readers are.
Can you do the Tina one? Your phone is clearer than mine. Erotic fanfiction. Yeah, it says, hold on. Erotic friend fiction butt loose. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I had myself muted.
Alright. Never said this was PG, just saying.
Oh, I always say that there's going to be adult language in these videos.
I'd hope so. I'm a 30-year-old something woman, so
Right?
I don't wanna be...
We may be dressed up as animals right now, but that doesn't mean this is for kids.
I'm not an animal!
A dinosaur's an animal! Rawr.
It'd be more like under the reptile.
The reptiles are still animals.
I don't consider them like that kind of animal.
Are you being animalist?
I like Continuing. Fanfiction writers have each other's backs. Yeah. On a side note, the fanfiction community is one of the best, if not the best, writing communities when it comes to constructive inner community criticism. All right. Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some people who get really off their rockers if you go very out of character with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't have nothing better to do than tear a writer down. Instead of just saying, oh, nope, not my cup of tea and walking away. No, they want to start shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, why? And I mean, that goes for original works too, like for Goodreads and stuff.
Right.
Fanfiction writers know the struggle of writing hundreds of hours worth of content only for people on the internet to come to their stories and comment something like, fanfiction isn't even real writing, or to point out how many errors there are throughout the work. Not only do fanfiction writers understand this pain, but they are incredibly generous with their constructive feedback because they're all in the same boat. I've seen tons of fanfiction critique groups and positive critiques in the comments of ongoing fanfiction stories. Due to the nature of the internet and fanfiction as a genre, readers are more likely to leave a helpful, positive comment for writers because they are far more accessible. Hey, quit laughing at me.
No, I was just thinking how you mentioned that sometimes you'll get into the stories where like the writer's taking too long to do a certain thing and everybody starts just getting mad.
Yeah. Oh, like the actually, the story that I was just talking about where I forgot to bookmark what chapter I left off, that one was one that I recently told you about, that people were getting mad about how slow burn she was taking it. Or
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but for how slow burn they were taking it. I'm like,
oh well.
Character development.
Yeah. Sorry.
What? There is something up to slow burn. There's a MHA fanfiction called Hero's Shadow, and that one's almost 1 million words. It's good, but there is like a lot of like slow burn repetitiveness to it that it gets really hard to like keep focused on it. But it is really good and worth the read. But that is an example that a lot of it could have been cut out.
Fanfiction is an excellent way to practice writing. Fanfiction writers, via community engagement, constructive critiques, drafting, revising, and self-editing, and ultimately practicing their writing skills, get a pretty good grasp of their strengths and weaknesses as a writer. Likewise, fanfiction writers learn to be vulnerable in their writing, to keep writing regularly, and to be strong, confident writers through the typical positive reinforcement from the fanfiction community. Of course, not everyone who writes fanfiction wants to be a professional writer. Many people just write fanfiction for the fun of it. And we have Tina, her quote for this is, "I'm gonna write the most erotic, graphic, freakiest friend fiction ever," as she's talking to her mom.
Fan fiction allows writers to experiment. At its core, fan fiction is all about fun and play. Writing fan fiction allows fans and writers to enjoy the never before seen or heard stories from their favorite characters and world. It's a way for writers to play around with different stories, tropes, voices, point of view, settings, characters, and other storytelling elements to create transformative words. The fanfiction writing process is meant to encourage experimentation with the source material and can also be therapeutic and inspiring. In many cases, alternate universes, crossovers, fanon characters, and original interpretations of pre existing works are in fact original works on their own because what started out as a fanfiction evolved into an original piece of writing with only a few remaining non original details, such as names. At this point, writers are just creating original works with universal archetypes. And the same goes for remixes and stitches?
Sure.
Patches? I don't know. Where the writer is essentially creating a retelling of a story which forces them to practice writing with different voices, point of views, and styles.
And then we have Tina. Oh God, can you please stop. Phone. Oh no, hold on. She goes, stop it. I've logged over 3,000 fantasy hours on my relationship with Jimmy Jr. You don't just throw that away. I also want to say, as a quick note on that, switching between writing for my own story and then writing fan fiction, I definitely have been using fan fiction to help me practice writing third person perspective, which I don't know how much I've improved since rewriting Tyrant when switching from third person to first person, but I feel like way more confident with fan fiction writing third person than I do my own original pieces. So
I would say Rudd. It's really good. I have no complaints.
Okay.
And I would have said something if I thought. And I mean, you're shooting off, so I mean,
yeah,
you're doing good.
Thank you. All right. Fanfiction can be very useful for aspiring writers because it teaches them many vital writing skills, forces them to be vulnerable with their writing, inspires them to employ constructive feedback from their readers, and requires them to become very familiar with the source material they're writing about. It's a really, really fantastic way for budding writers to dip their toes into it, and for amateur and seasoned writers alike to practice their craft in an increasingly safer writing space. While it's still kind of frowned upon for people to write fan fiction, for very lame reasons, we might add, it's been really cool to see the shift in public opinion of the hobby and art form. We always recommend new writers to try fan fiction because it takes the pressure off of them to come up with everything from scratch so they can just focus on the writing.
And now we're kind of transitioning to like more about the original works. The time, energy, and effort you put into your work are wasted if nobody reads it. To get people to read your writing and connect with you, you have to be original. Imagine being in a room with 1,000 people and all you sound the same. How would anyone distinguish your voice from others? Your writing will be like this if you are not original. The originality and authenticity, if I can't say these big words, of your writing are what will make it stand out from millions of other publications available to readers. In an interview, award-winning writer David Robbins advised aspiring writers to be unique. He explained, respect your
individuality.
Yes, I can't talk today.
You're good.
I am butchering all these words. Don't blow the same bugle as everyone else. Find what is unique in yourself and let the part of you sit by your side when you write.
Writing with originality doesn't necessarily mean developing new topics. As Pulitzer Prize winner Anna Quindlen said, every story has already been told. Once you've read Anna Karenina Bleak House, The Sound and the Fury, To Kill a Mockingbird, and A Wrinkle in Time, you understand that there is really no reason to ever write another novel, except that each writer brings to the table if she will let herself, something that no one else in history of time has ever had. By adding your original touch to an existing topic, you can create something entirely new. Screenwriter and film director Jean-Luc Godard put it well, it's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to.
How to generate original ideas. Tap into your imagination. Your imagination can never be the same as someone else's. Tapping into your innate creativity is a sure way to come up with an original and unique angle. Write from within. Let your life inspire you. Every person's life and experience is unique. By writing from your life experience, you can stay original in your writing. Sign up for writing courses. Enrolling in a writing course will help you discover your creative side if you have trouble generating original ideas on your own, and it will also help to improve your writing skills. Talk to people. Interacting with others not only triggers our creativity, but also helps us develop new ideas. And me, that is a lot of me. I work best, even if someone doesn't exactly give me the idea, like, actually gives me tips, but me bouncing thoughts off of somebody really helps trigger like different scenarios I can use or go with. So that one, like the talk to people, that one I am 100% backing on.
Oh yeah, 100%. Keeping your writing original helps you avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is a serious offense. It is something you need to look out for as an aspiring writer. One sure way to avoid it is by keeping your writing original. You can use information that is already out there, but make sure to paraphrase correctly. To paraphrase successfully, you must be able to add your original touch to an already written piece. The combination of your originality and good writing skills will make you a successful writer. You've been sitting in front of your computer screen for who knows how long, trying to come up with an original idea for a unique story that will hopefully amaze your readers. You think and think and think, but no matter what idea comes to your mind, you quickly dismiss it because people have already written about that before. It's the whole Simpsons did it thing. You want something original, a topic no one has explored, a unique idea that has never crossed any other writer's mind before. But that idea never comes. Before you know it, a lingering sense of disappointment and self-doubt settles in. Maybe you think creativity just isn't your forte. Do you want me to tell you something groundbreaking? Originality is a myth, and it's hurting your work. Let us explain. There is no original ideas. And something I want to add in there too with the plagiarism aspect, just like a quick add-in. For example, if you're doing, let's say, non-fantasy, so you're doing something that's more modern, especially with fiction. I don't know much of the rules of nonfiction, but if you want to put like a reference to something, or if you're saying the name of a song title, look up the copyright for that specific thing, because everything has its own copyright. So for example, like I think for the young adult that I'm writing in Northwood, I'm referencing a arcade game, and the copyright is you can only say it once in your writing. So the rest of it has to be explained. Or at least like described without the name, if that makes sense.
Kind of like look but don't tell.
Exactly.
Mark Twain once said, there is no such thing
Well, there's no such thing, apparently. That's it.
Mark Twain once said, there is no such thing as a new idea. It is impossible. We simply take a lot of old ideas and put them into sort of a mental kaleidoscope. We give them a turn and they make new and curious combinations. We keep on turning and making new combinations indefinitely, but they are the same old pieces of colored glass that have been in use through the ages. The world of writing is vast and with countless voices and stories already present.
Writers constantly recycle and remix old ideas, borrow old topics, approach the same topics from different angle, and reimagine existing concepts. When we embark on our writing journey, we thought that originality was the holy grail of creativity. It didn't take us long to realize how silly that notion was. Originality is a myth. All ideas have already been taken and all topics have been explored before.
The moment of revelation struck us unexpectedly, arriving in the form of a simple comment on one of the poster's blog posts. They poured their heart into the article that did quite well in terms of views and convinced that it was because they had explored an original subject. Amidst the flood of responses, one comment in particular stood out and left a mark that would reshape the entire approach. I appreciate the honesty in your writing. I've come across countless articles on the subject, but your perspective is refreshing. Oh, so someone had written about this topic before. The article wasn't original after all, but the perspective was. It was what won the readers.
It might take a while to absorb the fact that someone else in the world has already executed every one of your ideas. You might find it disappointing at first and probably start doubting yourself as a writer. But think about the following. What makes your favorite singer and their song stand out from all the hundreds of singers in the world who sing similar tunes? Two things. One, their voice, and two, their execution.
Your voice matters more than the novelty of your ideas. It's not what you write, but how you write it. While ideas may echo across time and space, it's the personal touch that transforms a piece of writing. Here's the good news. You can transform an old idea or a saturated subject by exploring it through the unique lens and narrating it with your unique voice.
It's your perspective that matters. If you think about it, most people love reading about the same topics: self-improvement, relationships, health, money, entrepreneurship, career advice, all important areas of life that concern pretty much everyone. And they will continue clicking on articles and buying books that expand on these topics because they'll always be looking for one more useful piece of advice, one more relatable experience, one more way to improve some area of their life. This is where your unique voice, perspective, and experience comes in.
Your experience on certain topic matters because there's always going to be a different piece of wisdom or advice you'll be able to offer your readers than someone whose experience differs from yours won't be able to give. Different experiences mean different paths, outcomes, and emotions, and consequentially are of different value.
Your life experiences, no matter how ordinary they may seem to you, hold the potential to offer a fresh angle, a novel solution, or a relatable anecdote that some other writer may not have considered. It's the authenticity in your storytelling that makes the information more than just facts and advice. Your readers are drawn not only to the expertise you provide, but also to the humanity you infuse into your writing. Instead of worrying about the originality of your ideas, approach any topic you want to write about from a different, your personal angle. Consider how your personal experiences can serve as a roadmap for others navigating similar terrain. Enrich your writing by adding your experience. Talk about the successes, but also the challenges you've encountered.
When it comes to writing, the power lies not only in the topic itself, but in your ability to infuse it with your personal touch. Stop obsessing over originality. Focus on value instead. If we could only give one piece of advice to aspiring writers, it would be the following: originality doesn't matter, value does.
Does your story, article, or book offer value to your readers? Does it answer their questions? Does it help them solve a problem? Does it make them relate to you and feel less alone? Does it help them improve in an area of their lives? Does it teach them something new? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself, and not whether your ideas are original.
Information today is abundant. What sets great writing apart is its ability to create connections. Your unique experience, perspective, voice, and spin can help create work the world needs. If your words can resonate with readers on a personal level, fostering a sense of understanding and shared experience, then you've achieved something far more profound than mere originality. In the end, it's the impact you make on your audience that truly matters far more than the pursuit of an elusive notion of originality.
The takeaway. At the end of the day, not having something unique to write about isn't as much of a problem as you think. Actually, let us rephrase that. It's not a problem at all. Originality is a myth that hurts your writing, makes you unnecessarily doubt your writing abilities, and hampers your progress.
What you should focus on instead is come to terms with the fact that when it comes to writing, truly original ideas don't exist. Writers constantly recycle and remix old ideas and saturated subjects. What differentiates you from them is your perspective and how you execute your ideas, which I agree. There's like taking my apocalypse dystopia genre fan fiction that I'm writing. I got, instead of like the zombie take, I went with what if the grid went down, and I got that idea from another book I read. But I felt like the whole concept was not executed very well in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do my take on that.
Right.
So I back the whole executing idea. Instead of worrying about the originality of your ideas, approach the topic you want to write about from a different, your personal angle. Enrich it by adding your experience and offer solutions or share the lessons you have acquired. Value, value, value. Writing is centered around offering value to your readers. It doesn't matter if your writing focuses on a topic that has been explored before, but whether it can help your readers and offer them a new piece of advice or information, a solution, or something that makes them feel understood. And that is all we got.
Do we have anything else to add before we finish it off?
Well, I hope that this information is useful, considering that I am a fan fiction writer and have been since like 2007 area. So I'm going on almost 20 years of writing fan fiction. And actually, no, it probably was a lot earlier than 07. My older sister really got me into it, starting with Dragon Ball Z.
Oh.
And then my first, I think my first piece that I wrote was actually to the game Harvest Moon for Nintendo 64. But in writing for myself was the 07. Fan fiction's earlier. But I actually have a piece that I wrote that is finished, but is horrendous.
Oh no.
And I'm not going to talk about it. But it came from the idea of Twilight.
Oh.
Vampire concept, but it is awful. So I don't think I will ever retouch it, but it is floating around the internet though.
It's on the internet? Oh no.
It is. Fiction Press, which is fanfiction.net's sister site. Fiction Press is for any original works. But if you plan to publish and stuff, I would not recommend putting it on there, because then you're losing sales and it's kind of like pirating. But
yeah.
Yeah. So technically, I do have something finished that was finished a long time ago. But nope.
Not even taking a glance at it. People ask you about it and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's only a handful of people who actually know about it, and I'm pretty sure I sent you the link for it before.
I don't think you did.
Okay, well, I will.
Oh no.
I don't have the stuff to log in, but I know I have 2 different accounts on there. I can't get into either or. So I will have to just send you the link to where it takes you directly to my profile. I also went by a pen name on there named Alaska. So,
lovely.
I went. But now I'm just perfect memories on all my writing stuff and my fanfiction TikTok or essay Flynn author on my other stuff. I don't have nothing personal no more. You either know me as perfect memories or essay.
All right. Well, that's all that we have for our educational segment today. So thank you everybody so much for listening or watching. This is the Author Sesh Corner, so we upload on YouTube and Spotify. Please leave a like, comment, share, or subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Helps out. If you can follow us on TikTok. If you can follow us on TikTok at the Author Sesh Corner, we need to get to 100 followers in order to do more partner live streams on there, as well as having that as the host for when we do author interviews. But otherwise, thank you again, and we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.